What is up, geeks and nerds? Welcome back to yet another fresh episode of Code and Solder. My name is Ayan, and as I have already told you a couple of videos back, I'm starting a podcast and I'm so excited to use this setup. Actually, I'm making this video to try this new mic and new setup. As you can see, the boom arm is there, the pop filter is there, and for the very first time, I'm recording an audio differently on this computer using this mic. And I don't know how I'm going to sync this audio with this video, but that is something new thing I would learn today by editing this video. As you must have seen the video title by now, so let's not waste any time and discuss 5 skills every CS and IT engineers and student must know. So let's dive right in.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
So the very first skill I wanted to talk about is hands down Linux operating system, and I'm not sure if calling Linux as a skill is the right thing, but what I'm trying to say here is you should know how to develop inside Linux environment, and almost every developer I know from software industry uses Linux because it's very efficient, it's very developer friendly, and unless you are a Windows developer who likes to code in Visual Studio only and only in C Sharp, maybe developing games for Windows only, then you have to use Windows. But otherwise, I would recommend to have knowledge of Linux operating system and use it as a full-time operating system because Linux is by far the most customizable, most developer-friendly operating system you can find in the market. It makes programming and developing so much fun and so much more easy. Since Linux is free and open source, you can customize everything inside it, and entire source code is available. That is why almost 90% of servers runs on Linux, and it is really a great skill to know how to develop inside Linux environment. And what exactly I mean by developing inside a Linux environment is using the command line interface. And a command line interface, in contrast to a graphical user interface, which you only get by the way by running a shell inside a Linux, lets you develop and manage your softwares very efficiently, and that is why it is a good skill to have, and I highly recommend you to learn Linux. I will also be leaving links to some references down below, so you can refer that link and you can learn these skills. These are some of the links which I used during my undergrad, and I wanted to share it with you. So for Linux, I would highly recommend to take a course on Linux 101 on edX. It's by Linux Foundation. It's a free course, but you can also pay some fees to get a certification from Linux Foundation itself, because Linux could be quite intimidating for beginners because there are so many distributions: Ubuntu, Fedora, Mint, and whatnot. So that is why I would recommend to take this course, and this course is really well organized and it's developed directly in partnership with Linux Foundation. So I would highly recommend to take this course and add Linux as a skill in your resume. Now let's talk about skill number 2 in this list, and that is Git. If you don't know what a Git is, it's basically a version control system. So I have seen a lot of students during my college who used to save their program in their local computer like version 1 underscore version 2, and that is not the correct way to do things in the software development, especially when you're working in a very big team in a collaborative on same project. There need to be a version control system so you can track the changes by different user. You can go back if a change is breaking some functionality, and that is where Git comes very handy. And I have seen many people, especially beginner students, getting confused between Git and GitHub. Basically, Git is a technology which is used to version control your software, your programs, and GitHub is a service which lets you version control them using the Git technology. And that is the basic difference I can give. So basically, Git is developed by the same person who developed Linux kernel, that is Linus Torvald. So basically, when the Linux code base was growing massively and people around the world were coming to contribute to it, Linus Torvald felt a need to have a system to version control the Linux kernel software, and then he developed the Git. And Git allows you to see which developer has made which commit or which change, and you can make pull request. I am going to throw some jargons at you. Pull request is basically when you want some change to a project, you fork it, copy it, make a pull request, and a lot of different jargons if you are not aware what a Git is. But I will leave a link down below, a video from CS50, another amazing course I would recommend you to take on Git and GitHub, and I hope that would help you to learn Git. And it's a really good thing to know because in industries people work on big projects and a lot of different people are working on the same project. So Git is a go-to choice for version controlling that software when a lot of people are working on same projects and collaboratively. There is also some different version control system like SVN and some others But Git by far is, I guess, the most common one, and it's a must-have skill if you are a CSN IT student or engineer. So far, we have discussed about two different skills, Linux and Git, both developed by the same person, Linus Torvalds. Hats off to him. And now it's time to discuss about the third skill, which I would recommend you to must learn, and that is one scripting language. In my opinion, having a knowledge of at least one scripting language is really crucial if you wanted to work as a developer. And scripting language enables you to do a lot of different things. Even if your main code base is in a compile time language like C or C++, scripting language like Python or Perl or Bash enables you to write test cases for it. It also used to automate different build processes and whatnot. So having a knowledge of one scripting language is really, really important. And I would recommend to learn either Bash, which is a born again shell. And Bash is basically a shell inside a Linux operating system. It's not, I would say, a scripting language, but with the Bash commands, you can write Bash scripts which will enable you to do different things and automate your tasks. And in case you want a scripting language for very high-end advanced ninja tasks, then I would recommend to learn either Python or Perl. Both are really great languages. Both are really powerful scripting languages. I prefer going with the Python because it's quite easy as compared to the Perl. But again, both are really powerful languages, and I would recommend to learn either one or both. That would be really great. I would also link down some books below. These are free open source books if you wanted to learn Python. One is A Byte of Python by Swroop, and other is Learning Python the Hard Way. Both are open source books, so you can use that to learn Python. And yes, having a knowledge of one scripting language is really crucial, and these are my choices which I would recommend, and it's up to you. So far we have discussed three skills. Now let's talk about the fourth one, and that is continuous integration. So continuous integration has been a fairly new technique and has been incorporated in software development lifecycle after the introduction of DevOps, that is development and operation. So around a few years back, when a developer made a change to a project, it takes a couple of days to come into production after being tested and quality assurance and whatnot. But after the introduction of DevOps, if you make a change as a developer in a project, it is high chances that it would be deployed to production by the evening, thanks to technologies like continuous integration and continuous deployment and automated testing. And that is where you need to learn continuous integration. So continuous integration allows you to build your project in an automated fashion. And let's say if any developer in your team make a commit, so continuous integrations tools will build that project using that commit, and if there is any build failure, it will tell you before pushing that to further testing and deployment. And that is where you need to learn continuous integration, because a lot of big projects and almost every big company who is into software and development businesses are using continuous integration. So there are different tools which enables you to do continuous build and continuous integration, such as Jenkins and Travis, and you can Google these words out and you can learn this. It's very simple and a good skill to have. I'm not sure if any college, especially in India, is teaching their students to learn continuous integration, but that is a fairly good skill to have. And of course, if you have that in your CV, it makes you stand out of the crowd. So again, a good skill to have. Continuous integrations, tools like Jenkins and Travis are good to know. Alright, so the last and the fifth skill I wanted to recommend you to learn as a CS or IT student or engineer is learning how to interact with the web servers and web APIs basically. So almost everything is moving to the web these days, and there are servers available on the web which allows you to do different things, to retrieve information, to push information. And as a developer, that is what you need to learn, and how to interact with these servers using programming languages or different tools. And interacting with these servers is done with the help of some APIs which the server designer or programmer has been exposed. So you need to learn how to interact with those APIs. You need to know the concept about how a server client relationship work, or how WebSockets work in general, how a REST API work. REST basically stands for representational state transfer, and that is a common way to interact with these web servers. You should also know how to use HTTP or hypertext transfer protocol, and what is a GET request, what is a PUT request, a delete request, or in short, interacting with web servers, web databases, and how to use programming languages, how to use different tools to interact with them. So do learn this thing. Also, I would be leaving some reference links, so do check out the description below. That was all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. I want to test this mic out, so I make this video. And do tell me in the comment section how you are liking this audio differences between my shotgun mic and this podcast mic. I wanted to check this out before making any podcast. So thank you very much for staying till the end. If you like this video, do leave a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, push the notification bell. It will help the channel to grow, and as always, I'm going to see you in the next one.